Do you ever notice how one small thought can quietly steal your confidence before your day even begins? Maybe you hesitate to start a task, or you're replaying a conversation in your head, or you avoid opening your planner because you're afraid you won't follow through on the tasks that you wrote in your planner for the day. In today's episode of Choose Happy with Marie, I'm sharing 3 simple daily habits you can use to interrupt self-doubt, calm your mind, and take small supported steps forward without pressure, perfection, or overthinking. If you're ready to break free from negative thinking and start trusting yourself again, this episode is for you. Come on in. It's time to choose happy. Wherever you are, whatever kind of day you're having, this is your reminder. You have a choice. If you're ready to break free from self-doubt and negative thinking, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Marie, and this is the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. Welcome. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the show. It's the podcast where I help you break free from negative thinking so that you can feel a little more confident, calm, and connected to your happy life. In the last episode, we talked about awareness, learning to notice your negative thoughts instead of getting swept up in them. And if you listen to that episode, you might be thinking, okay, Marie, I'm noticing the thoughts, but now what? How do I change this? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today, because negative thinking doesn't usually show up as one big dramatic moment. It shows up quietly in your mornings, in your to-do list, in how you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. Today, I want to share 3 simple daily habits that can help interrupt self-doubt before it takes over and gently guide you back to feeling grounded, capable, and more like yourself again. These are not big mindset overhauls. They're small, supportive shifts that you can use in real life today. Okay, let's be honest for a moment, because we're here for honesty, right? Most of us don't struggle with negative thinking because we don't know better. We know it's happening. We struggle because our days are full. We're juggling responsibilities, expectations, and mental to-do lists. And our thoughts, they just run on autopilot. You might notice this when replaying a conversation and wondering if you said the wrong thing. You're sitting at your desk after a Zoom call, and suddenly you remember something you said 5 minutes ago, and your mind spirals, thinking, did I sound too pushy? Did I offend her? Why can't I ever just get it right? You feel your chest tighten and a little knot of worry in your stomach. You catch yourself ruminating for the next 10 minutes instead of moving on to your next task. Does that sound familiar? Or maybe you're hesitating before starting something new because you're unsure you'll follow through. For example, you bought a new planner or a journal, or maybe it's an online course that you thought you would get clarity and confidence from, but it's still unopened and you're just not moving forward with it. You think, what if I don't use it consistently? What if I start and quit halfway like last time? You can feel your shoulders tighten and your mind quickly imagines all the ways that it could go wrong. That little hesitation stops you from even trying, and the opportunity to feel organized or capable slips by. Does that sound familiar? Or you're telling yourself, I should be doing better than this. You glance at your to-do list and you see half the items undone. You tell yourself, everyone else seems to have it all together. I really should have finished this, handled that, done more by now. That voice makes your chest feel heavy, your energy dip, and your confidence take a hit, even though the day is far from over. The small everyday pressure starts to feel like a judgment on who you are, not just what you've done. Does that sound familiar? Negative thinking often isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's familiar. Although it can feel loud at times, and all you want to do is to tell it to just be quiet. That's why daily habits matter. And they're not there to fix you. They're there to support you. Habits can be seen as something positive. So before we go any further, if the word habit is starting to trigger your negative thinking, for example, you're already thinking about times when you tried that thing, you tried to bring in a new habit and, well, that didn't work. Well, let's just stop that right now, okay? Today's a new day, and what I'm going to share with you can easily be implemented. So I don't want your negative thinking to stand in the way. So let's walk through what that actually can look like. Let's say you have a habit of, thinking negative things and just leaning into that. Well, the first thing we're going to do is the habit number 1, which is we name the thought, we don't argue with it. So the first habit is simple but powerful. Notice the thought and just name it. Here's a real example to illustrate. Imagine it's mid-morning. You check your email and you realize you meant to reply to something yesterday. Can you relate to this? Because I can. Instantly, your mind just jumps in and you're saying thoughts like, I should have handled this already. Oh, now it's awkward. Or I probably look unreliable. Nothing has happened yet. Just the thoughts. But your body starts reacting. You start feeling your shoulders tense. Your stomach starts to tighten. And instead of following the thought, you pause and gently say to yourself, this is the new habit. You ready? It's really simple. You say to yourself, this is self-doubt. That's it. You're not saying, why do I always do this? Or I need to get better at this. By naming it with this new habit, these new words to put into place, this is self-doubt. It creates space. You're no longer inside it. You're just observing it from a distance. And that small moment of awareness is often enough to stop the spiral before it gains momentum. So that is habit number 1. Just name the thought. And often our negative thoughts are self-doubt. Like it's something inside us that is trying to protect us, but it's leaning towards the negative side of things. Habit number 2. Do one small grounding reset. The second habit I'm introducing you to is about your body, not your mind. Because when negative thinking starts showing up, your nervous system often reacts first. So before you respond to that email, before you plan your day, before you talk yourself out of doing something, you pause. You take one slow breath. You feel your feet on the floor. You soften your jaw or drop your shoulders. And then you silently remind yourself, I'm okay right now. This isn't about calming down perfectly. It's just about creating just enough safety to move you forward without pressure. When your body settles, your thoughts naturally follow. So that's habit number 2. Do one small grounding reset. And habit number 3 that I want to introduce you to today is taking one imperfect action. Notice how I said the word imperfect. This is for the perfectionists that are out there. The third habit is where confidence starts to rebuild. Instead of waiting until you feel ready, you choose one small action. So back to the email example. So this is the email that you meant to send out, you meant to reply to yesterday, and you didn't get around to it, and now you're starting to think, this is awkward, she's going to think I'm not reliable. I mean, all the negative self-talk just throws in there. So what you do is you write a short response. So you reply to that email, okay? But you don't over-explain. You don't apologize excessively. You just reply to the email. If you need to say, my apologies, it got lost through time, or I got busy. But there's no guilt needed. It's human. We all forget to do things. And you press send. And when you do that, something shifts. Not because the email was perfect, because whatever, but you replied to the email. But because you trusted yourself enough to act, you followed through and replied to the email. This is how negative thinking loses its grip. It's not through motivation, but it's actually through gentle follow through. So let's bring forward the examples I shared with you earlier in the episode. But this time we're going to use the 3 habits that I just shared with you to illustrate it. So example 1, opening your planner instead of avoiding it. So imagine this. You place your coffee on the counter, you take a deep breath, you reach for your planner that's been sitting unopened all week with the intent that you want to use it. But the negative self-talk, the negative thinking is standing in your way. So instead of thinking, I have to plan everything perfectly, it has to be written down just right, all of that stuff, all of that perfectionist tendencies. Instead, you write down just 2 or 3 simple priorities for the day, 2 or 3 things you really want to get done that day. And by the way, these priorities or these to-dos that you do put in your planner, don't let it just be what everybody else wants from you. Yes, we all have tasks we have to do, but just remember why you have to do them. Maybe that can help motivate you. Like, for example, if you have a task that you need to renew your driver's license, for example. So if you have that task you need to do, put it in your planner. Yeah, it's a pain. You have to go to the bureau and all this stuff. But you remind yourself that you want to drive your car. So it's just something you have to do. Negativity doesn't need to join it. It's just a task. It doesn't need to have emotion. And that's often what happens is in a lot of our to-dos and our tasks, we attach emotion to it. And then it becomes heavy and negative thinking comes in, and you know where I'm going with that. So the planner doesn't need to be done perfectly. You write the words, and every day it can evolve. Today you write it this way, tomorrow you can write it that way. And it's whatever feels right for you. So after writing, by doing this, you write your to-dos, you notice a small sense of relief and accomplishment just for showing up and writing it out. And yes, you can and will follow through. It's really important you put tasks that you will follow through. And don't forget to add that check mark to note it as done. The check mark is powerful. It indicates progress and completion. So that was example number 1. Example number 2, starting a task without finishing it perfectly. So let's say you sit down to clean out your email inbox. Remember that? Oh yes, we all have those. But instead of spending an hour making it spotless, because I know you're out there and you want to have an empty email, and yeah, I don't know if that exists. Anyways, you just start with reading 5 to 10 emails. That's all. That's it. Just set some parameters for yourself and then stop. And by the way, I don't know about you, but there are so many emails in my inbox. You don't need to completely empty your inbox. I do have a way that I do manage my inbox, so I'd be happy to share with you if you want to have some tips about doing that. It's a simple thing I do weekly. Just reach out to me in the email, and I'd be happy to share that with you. By doing this, your thoughts change because you're taking control of the situation, and you're telling yourself, this doesn't need to be perfect. I'm doing what I can right now, and that is good enough. The sense of completion grows gradually, and the mental clutter starts to lift. Even though the task isn't fully done, you don't have an empty inbox, but you have your parameters of what you were going to take care of. And example number 3, saying yes to yourself instead of doubting your timing. For example, maybe you see an online self-paced workshop that you've been really curious about, or a course, and normally you'd wait until you have more time or feel ready. Do you know those words? How about if today you would tell yourself, I'll take one small step. I will purchase the workshop or the course, and I will watch one module of it today, and I'll come back to it later. I'll watch module 2 next week. And you can apply that to anything. It could be reading a book as well. You don't have to read the entire book. You can just read a few pages every day. I participate in a lot of online trainings. I read a lot of books, and I just pace myself. I could do a list on a Post-it note. That's another trick that I do to help me complete things. And again, just send me an email and I'd be happy to share with you my Post-it note tip on how I get things done that way. By saying yes to yourself and your curiosity, you quietly reinforce that your instincts and your choices can be trusted. Even a small action like this sends the message to the brain, I'm capable of supporting myself and taking action, even imperfectly. Each time you take one kind step forward, no matter how small or imperfect, you are reinforcing the truth that I can trust myself. I can follow through. And that trust builds confidence, quietly, steadily, and without pressure, and without the negative thinking. If this episode resonated, I want you to know something important. You don't need more discipline, and you don't need to fix yourself. You just need support and small practices that meet you where you are. In this week's email, I'm sharing a simple reflection, a gentle affirmation, and a small practice to help you use these habits in your real life. Check out the link to sign up in this episode's show notes, or you can sign up on my website, choosehappywithmarie.com. Thank you so much for being here and for being open-minded to try new things and your commitment to choosing happy to live your happy life today. Wishing you a wonderful week choosing happy. Cheers! Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.